Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Shagnik Datta. I'm an MBBS student at Burdwan Medical College and Hospital, West Bengal. In this video, we'll be talking about AI, that is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has been a constant topic of discussion and research all over the internet for the past few weeks and months. Out of all the AI softwares and bots, Chat GPT has been the most talked about and most used AI software on the internet. Now, ChatGPT has been used by many to create their programs, to write answers to some of their questions, and they even use ChatGPT to create resumes for their work. I personally use ChatGPT to create a resume for my freelancing work, and it actually got accepted. Now, the question that has been pondering all over the internet is, can AI replace human beings in the future? Now, ChatGPT has been used to test their efficiency against humans. Now, as a full-time MBBS student, I would like to actually know if ChatGPT can be used by MBBS students to answer their questions. Now, as a MBBS student, to get into a medical college, we first need to crack an exam called as NEET, and then we need to get over through four different professional exams after getting into the MBBS college. So in this video, we will try to solve some of the NEET questions and some of the MBBS questions as well using ChatGPT. So without much delay, let's get into the computer screen and use ChatGPT. Okay, so I am finally into the ChatGPT website. So I'll first try a physiology question where I'll use a question which has actually come in our professional exams few months back. So I'll use it. Okay, so this is the question where it says a 60-year-old subject who has undergone gastrectomy presents with anemia and neurological symptoms. What are the possible mechanisms of these clinical features, and what is the management of this question? Okay, let's just see what ChatGPT answers. Okay, so here is the answer to the question that ChatGPT has given us. So the question was, a 60-year-old subject who has undergone gastrectomy presents with anemia and neurological symptoms. What are the possible mechanisms of these clinical features, and what is the management of this condition? ChatGPT has actually given a proper answer to this, and moreover, what actually is very astonishing is it has actually maintained all the numberings properly. Like, it has given the answer to this question A as question A itself and B as B itself, and moreover it has written a proper answer with every single point. It has actually talked about two different kinds of anemias. It has also talked about the dumping syndrome. So talking about this question, ChatGPT has actually done a wonderful job in this case. It has actually dealt with all the three problems that are being caused in case of gastrectomy. Like in case of gastrectomy, vitamin B12 absorption is hampered, and vitamin B12 is an absolute necessity in the production of genetic materials. So neurological symptoms will occur in because of that, resulting in pernicious anemia. And the because of gastrectomy, iron absorption is also hampered. As a result, iron deficiency anemia also occurs. ChatGPT mentioned that as well. And in the case of gastrectomy, dumping syndrome occurs. ChatGPT didn't forget to mention that as well. So it dealt carefully with all the three symptoms and problems, and also tried to state the modifications. And what actually surprised me in this case is ChatGPT has given a well organized point wise answer, just like a human being could have done while writing a perfect answer. So ChatGPT gets a marks in this case. Okay, so the next question is also a physiology question which came into our physiology professional exam, which asked an explain why question, that is, a lesion in the subthalamic nucleus can cause hemibalismus. Why? Let's see what ChatGPT answers. Okay, so here is the answer by Chat GPT. It says the subthalamus is a small nucleus located within the basal ganglia, a collection of nuclei in the brain that are involved in the control of the movement. The subthalamus plays a critical role in regulating the activity of the basal ganglia, and lesions in this area can lead to a range of motor disorders. Hemivalismus is a rare and severe movement disorder characterized by sudden, wild, and uncontrollable movements of one side of the body. So it has explained hemivalismus. It has talked about the direct and indirect pathways, but I think if a 4 marks question is being asked in our college or any college whatsoever it might be, the teacher would actually expect us to talk about the indirect and the direct circuit specifically, and how the subthalamus is a part of the indirect pathway of the basal ganglia. So in this question, ChatGPT has not done a well enough job, because ChatGPT has failed to give a to the point direct answer to this question. Like, it though it has mentioned about the balance between the direct and indirect circuit which is hampered in this case, it has failed to say any details about the direct and indirect circuit. The direct circuit in general actually facilitates the motor movement, while in the other case, in case of the indirect circuit, the subthalamus has got a negative effect on the thalamus, which in turn has got a negative effect on the cortex, resulting in the inhibition of the motor movement, and thus a balance is created which is destroyed if the subthalamus is lesioned. So ChatGPT has failed to give this correlation properly. Like, any student would have been expected to write about the direct and indirect circuit in this question and then give the correlation to hemivalismus, but ChatGPT has not done that. So as an MBBS student, if this answer would have been written, I don't think that would be a proper answer to this question. Okay, so let's get into the next question. That is the third one. It will be a biochemistry question. That also was a part of our professional exam this year. So we'll just use that. Okay, so here is the question. A 78-year-old male was admitted at our hospital with clinical and laboratory features allowing us to make the diagnosis of acute myeloid leukemia. No evidence of a preceding CML was found. The karyotype on the G-banded metaphases was such and such. Molecular analysis suggests that a typical P190E6A2 transcript seems to be associated in AML with aggressive disease. Give a detailed account of the transcription process, how is it regulated, and name the inhibitors of the transcription. So it is basically asking about transcription. Let's see what Chat GPT answers in this case. Okay, so here is the answer by Chat GPT. The first question was give a detailed account of the transcription process. Now, ChatGPT has done a very bad job in this case, I really think, because here in this question, the teacher would have expected us to give a detailed account of an eukaryotic transcription, but ChatGPT has not specified what kind of transcription it is answering to. It has just given a superficial explanation of what a transcription process is. So the first part of the question, I think ChatGPT has not done a good enough job. Now, talking about the second part, how is it regulated? It has not talked about any of the factors used in the transcription, which is like quite obvious because it couldn't actually recognize the first part of the question which dealt with eukaryotic transcription. As it couldn't, it just gave a superficial answer for the second part as well. Now, talking about the third part, which would be like obvious enough to not get a proper answer, but it has actually given actinomycin D, which acts as a inhibitor. So like the third answer, it has answered to some extent, but the first and second part is like not good enough. So in this question, I think ChatGPT has not done a great job, because in this question, what actually was asked is about transcription. Now, what is being expected is when so much details is being given about the process, someone would answer specifically either about the prokaryotic or the eukaryotic transcription. Now there is a difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic transcription, and chat gpt actually couldn't identify the difference, so it actually went on saying in general about what the transcription process is actually about. Now I think in this question eukaryotic transcription should have been talked about, but chat gpt has failed to do that. So I don't think chat gpt gets a marks here in any case. And in the second part of this question, chat gpt has also failed to talk about the factors influencing it, though in the last part it has successfully said about an inhibitor of the transcription process, but overall it was a negative answer, I really think. So let's get into our next question, which is from biochemistry itself, but it's a NEET PG question which we'll be taking up. Okay, so this is the question. Let's see what chat gpt answers in this case. So here is the question: a child presents with metabolic lactic acidosis and hyperammonemia and convulsions in suffering from urea cycle defect, Ray's syndrome, phenylketonuria and MELAS. Let us try to answer it first by ourselves. Okay, so the child actually presents with lactic acidosis and hyperammonemia and convulsions. Okay, so urea cycle defect, I don't think that would be the answer, because urea cycle defect only presents with hyperammonemia and not lactic acidosis. Phenylketonuria is easily ruled out because these are not the symptoms of phenylketonuria. Now there is a confusion between Ray's syndrome and MELAS. MELAS is actually mitochondrial encephalopathy, lactic acidosis, and stroke-like episodes. So MELAS would be, I think MELAS actually shows lactic acidosis and not hyperammonemia. So I think the answer would be Ray's syndrome, because most of the mitochondrial factors and enzymes are actually affected in case of Ray's syndrome, leading to both lactic acidosis and hyperammonemia. So let's see what ChatGPT answers in this case. So this is the answer by ChatGPT, which says the answer to be an urea cycle defect. But I really do not think that urea cycle defect would be the answer. Ray's syndrome would be the most appropriate answer as per me, because in Ray's syndrome, all the three enzymes, that is OTC, CPS, as well as pyruvate dehydrogenase, is depreciated, resulting in lactic acidosis as well as hyperammonemia. So I really do not think this answer is correct. So for this question, I really think ChatGPT has given a wrong answer. In this question, a child is being presented with hyperammonemia and lactic acidosis. Now, talking about hyperammonemia, it is seen in urea cycle disorders, but lactic acidosis might not be seen in urea cycle disorders. But in case of Ray's disease, as both the enzymes, that is CPS, OTC, as well as pyruvate dehydrogenase is depreciated, so lactic acidosis is seen along with hyperammonemia. So Ray's disease or syndrome should be a proper answer to this question as per my knowledge. So I think ChatGPT has given a wrong answer in this case. So ChatGPT couldn't give a proper answer to the questions asked. So the questions that I actually asked were very direct and to the point answers that could be easily found in any other book of MBBS. But if you go over the internet, especially over YouTube, you will find that ChatGPT has failed to give any answer to some questions of UPSC, JEE, or even NEET PG. So where ChatGPT actually lacks is when there goes some higher order thinking skills. Now, if I talk about the questions put forward by me here in this case, is the questions are pretty direct, simple, and straightforward, can be easily found in any other book. So ChatGPT could actually go near to the questions. It could even answer one question properly. But the thing is, it lacked some precision. For example, it couldn't go into the details of direct and indirect circuit of the basal ganglia, but it could identify that the answer was related to the direct and indirect circuit. That is where it actually lacks at present. In a recent article, I actually got to know that Microsoft is planning to launch the version 4 of Chat GPT, which will include solutions in terms of images and videos as well. Maybe that would make Chat GPT even more precise. For example, it would be able to give you an image of the direct and indirect circuit, resulting in a complete answer for such kind of questions. But the positive thing in all these is, few years back we couldn't actually imagine a software or a bot answering human questions so efficiently. But that is a reality now. Maybe in the next few years, ChatGPT would be with more precision to answer every single other question. And that would be a next big thing in the future. So if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you.